Hello. All right, 5 reasons why it's hard to lose weight in midlife. That is the topic today. Today is day number 2 of the 3 videos that I'm doing this week. And then my next one is going to be on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, which is 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay, today there's no slides. It is just me, but I am going to read from a book, The Hormone Reset Diet. I'm going to read a little bit, and one of the things I'm talking about today is estrogen dominance. Could be one of the reasons why you cannot lose weight in this phase, right? So let me just let the group know that I am on live. And if you're watching the replay, of course, say hello, let me know. If you're watching live or the replay, make sure to love this post or comment. Then Facebook knows you want to see my posts, right? If you don't comment or you don't like or anything, thank you. Then Facebook doesn't think you like. You want to hear me? You want to see my stuff. So they won't show it to you. That's how Facebook works right now. So you might be noticing you may not be seeing friends' posts or things like that. It's because you probably haven't commented on their posts. You look at them, but that's it, right? So really important to make sure that if you guys want to see people's posts, stuff on Facebook, they want you to engage in them. They want you to like or love. So that's why it's really changing, and that's what they want. Okay, now let me just tell, I gotta go get my glasses too, because I forgot my glasses. And I can't really see. How are you all doing? Did you see yesterday's video? It was so good. Must watch yesterday's video that I did. That is one of the better videos that I did. I used slides. You will bring a notebook. You will get so much information, so much amazing information. It is still up in the group for a limited time and on my YouTube. Okay. Okay, it's just me today. No slides. And I gotta talk about the 5 things. Now there's of course more reasons than what I'm talking about today, but I didn't want to cover a whole bunch. I wanted to cover 5 things. So let's get started. Now, also, most of you know that for me, it is not just about weight loss. I talk a lot about weight loss because women come to me about weight loss. That is one of the symptoms in midlife and beyond that is a struggle, because what used to work doesn't work anymore. And so that leads you going I don't know, the things that used to work don't work. So I'm feeling a little stuck. And I know for me in midlife, I remember I didn't know what was going on in my body. I was 43. So I was way too young as far as I knew. And I'm 58, you guys. So that was what is that? 13 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. I remember being in Starbucks, and I bought this book called Midlife Fat Cells, because when I finally realized I was going through perimnenopause, I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with fat, right? I bought this book called Midlife Fat Cells, and I was reading it in Starbucks. And I was reading it, and I started bawling. Tears were rolling down my cheeks, because in the book, it said that it was normal for women to gain, and it was 12 pounds in this phase of life. And I thought, there's no way I'm gaining 12 pounds. I'm 5'2". I'd been a personal trainer, a yoga instructor. I was always really slim. I worked out like crazy. And I thought, I am not going to gain 12 pounds. No, not going to happen. And the book made it sound like this is what's going to happen. It's kind of every woman gains about 12 or more pounds in midlife. And I thought, oh my God, that can't be. I can't gain 12 pounds. So I went into a panic, and I cried, and I couldn't stop. Tears kept rolling down because I felt so helpless, right? I felt what do you mean this is normal? This can't be normal. I don't want to be that normal, right? I don't want to be that person. So it hit me really hard. And at that moment, I decided that I was going to do everything I could to not gain that weight, to not gain 12 pounds, to not feel so helpless with my weight. Like I said, I was a personal trainer. So I'm well, I know what to do. I know what to eat. But at that time, again, I was doing all those things and it wasn't working. I was still gaining weight. I was getting this little bit of a muffin top that I had never had before. So that led me on a journey. I chose to read, research, and study. I had to quit being a personal trainer for reasons because my body bonked. I ended up in extreme adrenal fatigue. And because I didn't know what was going on in my body. So I was completely deficient in different minerals and my hormones were all over the place. I was exercising too much. I wasn't eating properly. And I got just my body crapped out on me and I had to quit. Because I couldn't work out with women. I was so tired. I was so fatigued. I was so exhausted. And my body went, had so much pain. And it was just such a long journey through that phase of life. I helped everything though. I got out of everything over the years by doing things. And that's why I help women now, is because I really discovered what seems to work, right? So that was a very big time for me. And, so let's get to the 5 things. Number 1, the number 1 thing. When you decide to lose weight in midlife, when you're not sure what's going to work, I was there. We try many things, many things. But the thing is that we don't stick with something. I'm very impatient. I will try something for a little while. If I don't see results, I'm like, I'm on to the next thing. This doesn't work, right? This doesn't work. So number 1 is a problem is that you're not sticking with something for long enough. That's number 1 thing why you can't lose the weight. It is so true. You're just not sticking with it. So part of why that's so crazy, it's mindset that gets you out of it, right? So you're not sticking with it because there's so much doubt coming in, or there's this belief, it's not going to work for me. It hasn't worked for me. It's not working for me. Look, it's not working for me. So there's that's why I do so much mindset in my programs, right? The reason you don't stick with something is not understanding that, oh, okay, I just need to maybe adjust a couple things as I'm going on, right? I'm trying this. I'm going to commit to trying this. Does this make sense for me? So when you're picking a diet, it's like, does this make sense for me, right? Like if you don't like meat and you try keto and try eating a lot of meat, that doesn't make sense. Your body's not going to love it. If you know your body doesn't love meat, then don't go on something that has a lot of meat in it just because it promises you that it's going to have a specific outcome, right? So you want to find something that makes sense to you. It's like, okay, stick with it, but work on adjusting it for you, right? So the best thing you can do is start with something and go kind of like full in, where you want to stop eating the preservatives, stop eating the junk food, stop eating the crap, because all of those things are causing the weight gain too. So it's not about, well, I'm going to try eating keto, but I'm still going to have lots of chocolate, or you can't do that, right? You kind of got to clean your body, or you even do like a 4 or 5 day juice or smoothie cleanse. What that does is it gets you out of the addictive brain, the addictive body. So you're not going to be, you cannot trust your body if your body's addicted to certain foods. If your body expects, so if you're kind of addicted to sweets, your body's gonna, you're gonna have these ups and downs, crazy ups and downs of blood sugar levels if you're not eating sweets anymore. You're going to feel lightheaded. You're going to feel dizzy. You're going to feel like you're going crazy. You're going to feel foggy. You're going to have headaches, right? So just know that when you go to change something in your eating for the cleaner, you're going to experience uncomfortable feelings and, most of all, most likely uncomfortable emotions. And that's the things that people can't handle. That's why they quit, right? So it's when you're not sticking with something, or not sticking with something, but adjusting it and feeling, is this right for me? Is this right for me? So if you don't do that, if you're not focusing on, is this right for me? How does this feel to my body? And sticking with something for a long time, knowing, right, so you wouldn't stick with something for a long time if your body doesn't like it. That means if you get completely bloated, constipated, uncomfortable, heavy, which is what meat would do for me, right? If I had to try and force myself to be on keto, I'd be bloated all the time, very uncomfortable, constipated, heavy feeling, foggy, because my digestion would be so bad, right? So just being aware, right? You want to stick with something, but notice how it makes you feel, and eat in ways that make your body feel good, right? Number 2 is when you are eating, you think you're eating healthy. You're convinced you're eating good. You're eating healthy. When you're convinced, I'm doing all I can. I'm doing it all and nothing's working. But you're not aware maybe that you're still eating some of the healthy foods that cause weight gain, right? Like some people are like, well, I have, for my afternoon snack, I have grapes. I may have orange cut up. I will have, whatever, right? The fruit in the afternoon, or I have fruit for breakfast and nothing else, let's say. Or I have oatmeal with bananas for breakfast. I used to get a lot of that, oatmeal with bananas. And I'm like, whoa, well, that's not what you want to have for breakfast, is oatmeal with bananas. That will put the weight gain on. Or people, I have avocado toast, right? Like I have gluten-free bread and I put avocado on it. Or I have a protein smoothie for breakfast. That's all I have is just almond milk and protein powder. And I'm like, well, that's not good for you. That's not nutrients your body needs first thing in the morning, right? So not quite understanding that even though what you're eating is considered healthy foods and is considered really good for certain people at certain ages of their life, right? Younger women or people who work out a lot and they're not in their 40s or 50s, right? So you can follow someone's diet that says is really good, a healthy eating plan, but it's not for you during this phase of life. Therefore, it won't work. It's not what your body actually needs. So that's one of the big things. Not eating, like some people they don't eat enough greens and vegetables. And I know I've talked about this so much, but every single person that I talk to does not eat enough. And doesn't realize that needs to be the biggest part of your day, right? The vegetables and the greens need to be the biggest part of your food throughout the whole day. So you could be saying, but I'm eating health, like I'm having, what would be an example? I have eggs for breakfast. I have a yam and gluten-free toast for lunch, something like that, right? And then I have some fish for dinner with a side of quinoa, something like that, right? And a little bit of, like literally some people have so little vegetables with their meal. And then they don't realize, because that could overall seem, oh, well, that's really healthy. She's eating really healthy food, but you're not getting enough of the right foods, right? You're not getting enough of the vegetables and the greens. Not at all. You're not getting enough fiber. You're not getting enough minerals, which is a really big thing. Or people who don't have green smoothies or smoothies. And I'm so big on those. That smoothies is such a good way to get huge amounts of minerals, vitamins, essential fatty acids, right? A good balance of fats, proteins, the amino acids, proteins, and vitamins and minerals in one place, right? First thing in the morning. And after you've fasted all night, or even if you do intermittent fasting, which yes is great. I totally agree with intermittent fasting. Just when you're intermittent fasting, make sure you're eating good, healthy foods, right? You don't intermittent fast and then have a piece of bread for lunch. Like that doesn't make sense, right? So you got to make sure that you're still getting high amounts of minerals and vitamins and all those into your day if you're intermittent fasting, okay? Intermittent fasting will only work if you're eating healthy foods when you eat, right? So that's one of the biggest things, is not eating enough of the right foods for this phase of life. Eating foods that may be seen as healthy, but they're not the right foods. Too much fruit is a big one that I see a lot of people. Some people love fruit and they'll eat too much fruit, or they'll eat lean meats or fish, and let's say quinoa or brown rice, lentils, all of those things. But still the veggies is like such a smaller portion of their day, and that's not going to work. It could be that you're eating, so if you're vegan, you could be eating too much starch. The brown rice, the lentils, the beans, the vegan chilies, all of those things. Foods with preservatives, right? Thinking I'm eating vegan meats and I'm eating vegan dishes, but all of them, they may be full of chemicals, flavorings, preservatives, right? It's just this whole market of It's confusion now because they sell them as healthy alternatives. Here's a healthy alternative to meat. Here's a healthy alternative to that, right? But is it really healthy? No, it's not healthy. It's just an alternative to meat, but it doesn't mean it's healthy, right? The best thing you can do is stick with real food, real food. Number 3 is stress. Number 3 is stress. The reason, one of the biggest reasons why a lot of women are not losing the weight is because of stress. Their life is too stressful, or they're putting too much stress on their body, which could mean the wrong type of exercise in this phase of life. You could work all day, kind of be, oh my God, I have a lot to do, right? Like working every day, 5 days a week, long hours, that's a lot. Even though you're just sitting, it is stressful. And then you're like, I need to move my body. So then you join a boot camp, or you do, you go for 1 hour walking on a treadmill, which is not the thing to do. You will not lose weight that way. Things like that, right? And then so you're doing the wrong exercise, plus you're stressed, and exercise causes more stress to your body, especially when you're stressed and tired. So then your body will probably put on weight if that's your issue. So that's the thing about stress and exercise. The most important thing for you, my dog's trying to get some. The most important thing for you to do when you are in that situation where you're like, oh yeah, my life is so busy, so stressful, is to work on simplifying your life and doing breathing techniques throughout the day to decrease that stress response. And I talked a lot about this on my last video yesterday, so make sure to watch that too. I had slides, so you get a lot of great information there. So stress, number 1. And breath is your the number one best way to decrease the stress response, right? Breath and grounding techniques, which I teach in all my programs. So even if you just take 10 deep cleansing breaths in, like in through your nose, exhale through your mouth, and allowing yourself to be fully present in the moment, that helps to decrease the stress in that moment. And doing that a few times a day will have a huge effect. And you also need to change your life. Really you do, guys. If your life is too stressful, too busy, then that's telling you right there that something needs to change. Number 4. This is a huge one. This is one that most people probably don't even know about, and that is estrogen dominance. Estrogen dominance is very dangerous. Now, women in their 30s can have estrogen dominance, women who are younger, because of the meat and dairy industry and the plastics and the preservatives and the chemicals that are all in our foods. All those, and in furniture and in rugs and in plastics and yoga mats and paints, all of that, all the toxins and all of the chemicals that we breathe in, that we eat, that we put on our bodies, will screw up our chemical balance of our body. So now we are seeing more hormonal problems, and at younger ages, and lasting into post-menopause, because there are so many toxins in our environment and in our food, and that we put on our body. Huge, guys. If you could eliminate as much as you can, that would make a big difference. It still takes a time for that to finally, your body to begin to release those chemicals that are stored in fat. Anything that your body cannot break down and metabolize, it is stored in fat. You will not get rid of fat while you have toxins in your body, right? Now, we always will, but I mean overload, right? There's an overload. There's an overload point where your body like, I can't get rid of it. And if your digestion is slow and sluggish and you're constipated a lot, you're not drinking enough water, you are also not getting rid of the toxins as well as you should. Deep breathing. Is also a good way to detoxify your body. Did you know that? So that is something else too. Plus it decreases the stress. So I'm going to read a little bit about estrogen dominance, how crucial it is to understand it, and how devastating it is to your body, your health, and the fat, of course. I'm just going to grab my glasses. Okay. So I'm reading from the book, The Hormone Reset Diet by Dr. Sarah Gottfried. Okay. And she talks about resetting 7 hormones of your body. So estrogen, and they're talking about is going meatless, right? So the conventional meats and dairy. Conventional meats and dairy have, hello. Say hello, guys. Conventional meat and dairy is where you really want to watch it. Now, in Canada, it may not be as bad, but in the US, it's brutal. And if you're in the UK and some places in Europe, you don't have to worry about this as much because they actually are not allowed to do certain things. So we're talking about the feedlots. Like if you buy your food, your meat and dairy from conventional stores, it's not organic, it's not local, it's not grass-fed, grain, whatever, you know. For one, you don't really want a lot of grain-fed because the grain is usually genetically modified and a lot of it is corn, which is not good for us. There's something freaky that happens when you females eat grain-fed, hormone-injected, superbug-infected meat. It slows down your digestion and may make you bloated or constipated or both. It raises your body's estrogen level and it messes with your microbiome, the collective DNA of the microbes that live in your gut and elsewhere in your body. The bigger problem is what's hidden in the fat of most meats you find in your grocery store. Yes. Where they talk about some of this really unpleasant stuff that's in there. Industrial seed oils are also linked to higher inflammation and problems with insulin and leptin, which cause weight gain. And they flip the hormone metabolic switch to make you fat. Let me see. Alcohol is, they say meat, conventional meat and dairy plus alcohol together are a brutal combination. So if you really want to kind of go on a kick for a while, you get rid of conventional meats, dairies, and alcohol. And sugar, of course, right? The connection between meat and estrogen is profound. When you eat conventionally raised red meat, estrogen overload is more likely. Hormones in the meat, the type of bacteria cultivated in the gut of people who eat a lot of meat, or a combination of factors, that's what causes the fat. Meat eaters consume half as much fiber as vegetarians, so that's another reason. Estrogen dominant conditions such as diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and certain forms of breast cancer, ovarian, and endometrial cancer. Scientists know that estrogen dominance is a common root cause of those conditions. So that's why it's so important to decrease all these extra things, right? Standard practice for cattle is to treat them prolifically with antibiotics, dewormers, thereby breeding bacterial and parasite resistance and leading to the rise of superbugs, which can trigger hard to treat infections and food-borne illnesses, right? 55% of beef, 69% of pork, and 81% of turkey meat contains these superbugs. And then there's steroid hormones, right? An average of 6 steroid hormones are pumped into feedlot cattle in order to fatten them up. So if you eat meat that's been injected with the steroid hormones to fatten the meat up, it's going to fatten you up, right? And then there's persistent organic pollutants, some of the things I talked about. Synthetic chemicals that may act as what's called xenoestrogens. So they mimic estrogen in the body. They're fake estrogens, a bad estrogen in the body, and raise your levels of endogenous estrogen, resulting in estrogen dominance. They also can cause leaky gut and inflammation within your body. So xenoestrogens, they can come from plastics. So plastic water bottles, heating things up in the microwave in plastic, using plastic storage containers. Don't buy those foods that they say if they're in a plastic bag and you throw them in boiled water and you cook them and don't cook anything in plastic. So there's so many things, right? Plus all the toxins and natural flavors and spices and stuff that are not natural. They're just made to taste natural, but they're really chemical compounds. All of those things, plus the things we put on our body, the off gas of furniture, of new furniture, new flooring, all of those things can give off these chemicals too. Another one, grain-fed meat is poor nutrient density. Okay, grain-fed meat is lower in vitamins A, B, and C, and E, plus higher in omega-6 fatty acids, which is the bad. You want omega-3s, not a lot of omega-6s, right? So when you're buying those feedlot cattle, that type of meat, like we said, pork, even poultry, all of that, you are getting all this stuff that either what they're fed or what's pumped into them, injected into them. Then when you eat their meat, you are getting that in your body. Too much omega-6 compared to omega-3 leads to inflammation and more fat storage. Grain-fed beef shows a ratio of 8 to 1. 8 to 1. So you also make sure that you're eating good oils, not the bad oils. Coconut oil, really good organic extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, a walnut oil, something like that. Okay, make sure you're having those oils. Do not cook food in olive oil. Cook food in avocado oil or coconut oil. And I use some grapeseed oil when I'm cooking. I don't use a lot of grapeseed oil, but I do use some of it when I'm cooking sometimes because it is really helps for non-stick. It's grapeseed oil is heavier, so it's really, really good for cooking, whereas coconut oil, when you cook with it, it's very light, and if things tend to stick. So it depends on what you're cooking, right? When you eat fat from conventional animal meat, these toxins enter your gut and are sent to the liver. Your liver doesn't know what to do with them, so they're sent to fat stores. What your liver can't process, so your liver processes the toxins, it will be sent to fat, because fat is the storage dump, the garbage dump of your body. That's where things are stored to keep them away from your organs and to keep the toxins away from your bloodstream, to keep you healthy. So you have the fat for a reason lots of times. Your fat tissue eventually starts to release more toxins into your bloodstream because it's in overload, right? Which is tied to obesity, insulin resistance, and breast cancer. There is a lot of breast cancer now, you guys, like a lot. We need to prevent it. They're working so hard at finding cures for it, so once someone has it, but we need to prevent it. That's where all the research needs to go. But is it? Food, how you eat, what you eat, that prevents things. People need to wake up. Same with viruses. Your body's immune system is meant to fight them off, right? You're so welcome, Beth. Estrogen dominance causes overweight women to store more fat. So we're on number 4, and there's a number 5 too, so I will get to number 5. This one's just so important, right? I think I basically said everything. Otherwise, she just kind of repeats the same thing, right? Over and over again, and all the different things that estrogen dominance can cause us. So really look into estrogen dominance. You can Google what foods are high in estrogen, what foods are lower in estrogen, things like that, right? And when you are in post-menopause, you are lower in estrogen. So you can have foods like soy, tofu, tempeh. That's fine, right? Flax seeds. If you are in estrogen dominance, you want to greatly decrease those foods, right? But someone like me, post-menopause, who is not in estrogen dominance, I am lower in estrogen, plus I don't have insulin resistance or any of those issues, then having organic tempeh and tofu and non-GMO is totally good for me, and flax seeds, totally fine. Number 5, why? So I've already kind of talked about this, so I also want to add in your belief. Number 5 I have is trying too many things at once, diet and exercise. And then I also want to add in your belief that it's possible for you, right? So, or what you focus on, because what you focus on expands. So when we continually focus on our weight, belly fat, whatever, it's not going to go away, because you're continually telling your body, you have it. You have it. When you can't believe, when you have no belief that you can get rid of it, you won't get rid of it. You got to come from the belief like, I believe that it's totally possible that I can lose this. And then you don't give up, for one. So when you're trying too many things at once, like diet and different types of exercise, you're not sticking with anything long enough. You're trying one thing, another thing, and it's confusing the body. and just adding a little bit more stress on the body. So one thing that it's what a lot of people do is that they will flip around here and there. So what I hear often is when women come to work with me is, I've tried everything. I've tried so many things. Well, it's good that you try and you don't give up. But when you try something for like 2 months, then go on to something else for 2 months, and something else for 2 months, and something else for 2 months, that's not long enough, right? Plus, you're not trusting, you're not learning to know what your body needs, what your body loves, what's best for your body. You're flipping around trying to find the answers from other people or other things, right? So in my programs, I teach you how to learn what's right for your body. That's when it works, right? That's when you learn to trust. Okay, and that's when you just try something, you stick with it, but you tweak it, right? You tweak it. That's how it works. It's not like trying this, trying that, starting all over again, binging, then trying this, and then giving up, and then feeling like a failure, and all of those things. That's just so much of an up and down, and you don't learn to trust yourself. If you don't have trust in yourself, if you don't have a belief you can do it, you won't do it. Right? So it's also about building the faith, trust, and belief in yourself that you can do it, that you are doing it, that you're never going to give up. Because healthy eating is a lifestyle. It's for life. It's not a diet, right? If you're wanting to lose weight, that is something that is like, I'm desiring this. So I'm living my life with my focus on healthy eating, exercise that's right for me and my body type and where I am in my life. That's what it is. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do this diet, but if it doesn't work, then I'll just have to find something else. No, you're going to do what it takes until it takes. I'm going to try something, adjust it, tweak it, tune in with my body, listen to my body. You know, you can't say I walk every day for a half an hour. Well, I don't know why I've lost weight. Well, because there's the plateaus too, right? We do the same thing for a year, and if nothing's happened, you got to change things. You don't need to wait a year. Right? When we keep things the same for so long because they're comfortable, yet we're constantly complaining they're not working. You know what I mean? We all do it. We all do it. So, it's like that. Well, I don't know. This should be working. So there's two things. You flip around with too many things and you don't stick with something. You don't trust yourself. You don't listen to your body. And another thing is sticking with what you think is the right thing to do, but it's actually not. So you stick with it for a long time and then you just keep getting frustrated because it's not working. And that, I have a lot of women do that with food and especially with exercise. Well, I walk every night. Like I do it. I walk, I do this every day and I don't know why. It was because you're not taking it to the next level, right? You're not taking it to the next level. Your body gets used to things. So I hope that's helped, giving you some idea. There is a hope. It's about gaining the awareness, right? Like going, okay, this is where I am right now. What do I want from my body? What do I want from my health? What do I want from my life? How do I want to feel? How do I want to be? And I have a new program coming up, you guys. It's 2 months. And we're going through all of this. It is a heavier mindset program. But of course, we always talk about the food because it is everything. So you'll be posting your food too, but we really do work on your inner game, changing the inside, working on what's going to work for you, finding what's going to work for you, guiding you, supporting you along the way, and accountability and being part of a group where women are working through the same things for them. It's not cookie cutter at all. I'm there for you in the group every single day. We have Zoom calls, which are video calls. I get to talk with you. It's a small group of women. So there's a lot of connection. There's a lot of support, help, and accountability. And that goes for 2 months. You try things, you adjust them. You get to learn, you get to know. You do things so you get the how-to, right? Like this is what I'm doing for this week. This is my focus. How did it work for me? How did it feel? What do I need to adjust? What do I need to change for the next week? And you do that for 8 weeks. You will learn so much about yourself and you will feel different. You will get results. Absolutely. I can't guarantee how much weight you would lose because every single woman is different. You're all coming from a different place, from a different body, from a different phase of life. And you could have a thyroid problem. You could have huge amount of insulin resistance. That's got to be cleared up first, right? But you always have wonderful changes, positive ones. And working on your health and wellness is never wrong. It's always the right thing to do. Always, always, always. So that will be coming out starting in early March. So if you want to say, yes, Diana, I'm interested in the early bird price, then let me know. And you can also still get a one-on-one session with me, just a one session. If somebody just wants, I just want to talk to you, Diana, one session, ask you some questions, get some guided help, get some steps, then you can reach out to me and I can give you one of the one-on-one sessions. They're on for $100 off right now. So you get it for $122. You can still work with me after that. But if you want, if you're like, I just need help right now, that's what you can do, the one-on-one session. All right. So much love to you. Thank you for being here. And as always, post in the group. Let me know your questions. Let me know what you're going through. That's how I know how I can help you and what I can help you with. Saturday, we are doing a video on mindset. And let me tell you, that's one of my, and I will have slides again. Mindset is one of the most important things. We're talking your inner game, your personal power, stepping into your power, being an empowered person, making choices for you, deciding what's right for you, sticking with it, being accountable, finding your inner motivation. That's what it's all about. So happy you were here, and I will see you on Saturday or before that. Okay, have a good evening. Bye-bye.